Hey, what's up, guys? Brian Barrera here, CEO for LC Innovation. Yeah, guys, I did some posts over the weekend about the Dodgers, how they're not ruining baseball, how they're building a culture good enough where Yoshinobu Yamamoto took a pay cut, left money on the table to join the Los Angeles Dodgers. He was getting better offers from other teams. Um, I know for sure the New York Yankees. And then on top of that, too, I was talking about Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars and how I feel the Jacoby Myers trade is going to benefit Trevor Lawrence this year. But man, there's so much talk about Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars need to take a long look in the mirror over Trevor. Oh, I'm sorry, if you didn't know, the Jacksonville Jaguars blew a 19-point lead against the Houston Texans. Sorry, they blew a lead against them, and it was one of the worst losses in Jacksonville Jaguars history. They ended up losing, I think it was like 36-29 or something like that. It was just really, really bad. It was just really bad, or 36-30. I forgot the score, but it was a really, really bad loss. And they were winning for most of the game. They kicked their ass, to be honest with you. But I'm looking at the positive things, but I also want to go over like the negative aspect. And I'm not talking about negative as to what people are saying. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Everyone can have their own hot take on what's going on. But the fact of the matter is that if you're giving up on Trevor Lawrence, you're really giving up on Liam Coen. And the reason why is because Liam Coen came to the Jaguars because it was a great opportunity. But remember, he was going to go back to Tampa Bay as an offensive coordinator. He flew back, he declined the job or whatever, and the Jags did everything they could do to get him back. Right? There was a big media thing, it was a big news thing where he said no and then he left and then they were chasing him on the plane or something like that and they ended up getting him to sign. He recommitted back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he came to Jacksonville. Anyways, that's what you're really giving up on. And the reason why I say that is because he's a first-year coach, right? I know it's so easy to blame Trevor. It's so easy, but the kid's 26 years old, right? He's 26 years old. He's been in the NFL. This is his fifth season, I believe. 2021, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, it's his fifth NFL season. I get it. This is the time where he's supposed to be the man. I understand. I totally get it. Is he the man? Is he that guy? I totally understand. He's getting paid top dollar. He's getting paid more than Patrick Mahomes year over year. I get it. There's a lot of people that are questioning it. But I guess like the main things that I want to talk about is like, first of all, like what kind of culture do you want? Like, what kind of culture do you want? Do you want a culture that just gives up after 10 games or 9 games in this case? Do you just give up? Do you just say, "Oh, it's 2023, 2024 all over again?" It's not. It's not 2023, 2024 all over again. It might be 2022 all over again, but it's not. And the reason why it's such a cultural issue is because is that what we're going to do is just give up on the season? You have to remember this is Liam Cohen's sorry, you have to remember this is Liam Cohen's first year. It's his first year, and he's made some big mistakes. He really has, but they're rookie coach mistakes. There's been multiple games where there's bad time management, timeouts at the end of the game, mismanaged, blah blah blah. You look at the top tier NFL teams. Somehow, some way, the Chiefs, with a minute left, always have 3 timeouts. Pittsburgh Steelers with Mike Tomlin, who I'm a big fan of, same thing. But that's another great example right there. Because the Steelers have only won one Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin, they're in it every single year. Every year you think they're going to finally suck or fall apart, and they end up making the playoffs. They end up being in the hunt. They know their culture. Their culture is winning. Maybe not Super Bowls, but it's winning. While the Patriots have won 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, the Mahomes and Andy Reid era has brought 3 Super Bowls already. I get it. Mike Tomlin only has one, and it was with Ben Roethlisberger. I understand. But you can't say that they're not a winning culture. They are a winning culture. And that's what I'm saying with the Jaguars. Like, what are we expecting from a first-year coach in Liam Cohen? We have to give him time to dissect Trevor Lawrence. You can't dissect Trevor Lawrence in 9 games. There has to be a whole season. And if you look at the roster construction, look at what they're doing to better help Trevor Lawrence. Brian Thomas Jr. is an amazing wide receiver, an amazing top-tier talent. He doesn't like catching balls up the middle. It doesn't seem like he likes slants up the middle. It seems like he doesn't. Jacoby Myers does. They traded for Jacoby Myers. The Jaguars lead the league in drops. They traded for Jacoby Myers. They traded for him to get a less drop percentage, a better drop percentage, compared to the other football players. Parker Washington, he's in year 2 in the NFL. Look how great of a game he had. He's becoming a Wes Welker slash Julian Edelman for Trevor Lawrence. I'm not saying he's on their level. He's not yet, at least. But he's becoming that type of go-to target for Trevor Lawrence. What I'm simply trying to say is, what kind of culture do we want to be? Do we want to be a culture that gives time? Or do we want to be a culture that just throws in the towel right away? Because it just doesn't make any sense to me. Trevor Lawrence has been an NFL quarterback. This is his 5th season. First year he had it with Urban Meyer. The second year was with Doug Peterson. A lot of people are saying that Doug Peterson hated Trevor Lawrence when he left. He couldn't even talk good about him. He always threw him under the bus. I totally agree. But here's the problem with Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson literally got fired by the Jaguars for the same reason he got fired from the Philadelphia Eagles, from where he won a Super Bowl. Okay? What happens as a great leader? As a great leader, you make new leaders. You make new great leaders. That's a leader's job, is to make more leaders. If you read Bill Belichick's book that he just released, he talks about it, that he always had new leaders in place. The moment one of his coaches left, he had another one lined up right after him. And if the coach behind the coach, who was in question of leaving, if the coach behind him was ready to thrive and ready for more, and he didn't want to lose them, he would tell his existing coach, "Hey, maybe it's time you go get become an NFL head coach." So he talks about it in his book, where he talks about Josh McDaniels and Charlie Weiss and all these guys becoming NFL or college football head coaches, leaving his program, and he has a Brian Dabble or whoever else lined up after them to take over, right, to become the successor. That's what a real leader does. Doug Peterson did that in Jacksonville. The first year, it's chronicled, the first year in 2022, he was calling plays left and right for the Jaguars. That's what a lot of these writers wrote, and that's what I've read. He was calling plays. And in 2023, 2024, he ended up giving it to Press Taylor. Now, if I'm reading correctly about everything I've read about Doug Peterson's departure from the Philadelphia Eagles, is that that's what he did with Philadelphia. That he would promote people, and right or wrong or indifferent, he would not give up on them. Even if they were doing a terrible job or if they were doing a good job, he wouldn't give up. He backed up his guys. So is it possible that Doug Peterson backed up his guys when it came to Trevor Lawrence, that he backed them up over Trevor Lawrence? Because that's what I believe that we saw. He would not give up on Press Taylor. I'm not saying Press Taylor is a bad offensive coordinator or any of that, but I am saying he did not fit Trevor Lawrence's skill set. There was some games in the last, and I remember this, so all you Jaguar fans that are talking trash about the Jags right now, if you remember 2023 and 2024, I remember there were some games where Trevor Lawrence only had 18 passes, 20 passes. These top-tier quarterbacks, man, they got to throw it 30 to 40 times a game. They do. All the great quarterbacks do. Now, here's the thing. You could say, well, they didn't trust Trevor to throw the ball. Okay, well, what are you expecting, a perfect game? Because last time I checked, Patrick Mahomes throws interceptions. Lamar Jackson doesn't too much. Josh Allen doesn't too much. But some quarterbacks throw. Peyton Manning threw a lot of interceptions. Peyton Manning went for it. Okay? But also, too, at least the coach, Tony Dungy, understood what Peyton Manning's skill set was. In the fourth quarter, Peyton Manning would always come alive. I don't know if that's because he was trying to feel out the defense or whatever, but he always came alive in the fourth quarter. I remember, because I'm a Jaguar fan, I saw Peyton Manning play 6 to 7, no more. I would see Peyton Manning play at least 10 times a year because they always made the playoffs. They played 2-3 games in the playoffs, right? So that's 2 or 3 times a year already. Plus Monday night football, Sunday night football, whatever. They played like 4 or 5 times a year too. So that's already what, 8 times, 7, 8 times a year. Plus when they played the Jaguars, which is 2 times. So yeah, I watched Peyton Manning play a lot, and Tony Dungy knew that Peyton Manning would come alive in the fourth quarter. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is this is Liam Coen's first year, right? It's his first year. He's barely really. We're not supposed to be 5-4 right now, and some people are saying, "Oh, we're like a couple wins away from being 3-6, right?" Okay, I totally understand what you're saying, but we're also a couple losses away from being 7-2 because we had a big lead against the Cincinnati Bengals. We let it go after Joe Burrow got hurt, and then right now with the Houston Texans, with the backup quarterback, we lost, right? So we lost to Jake Browning and we lost to Mills. I totally understand that. So in theory, we could actually be 7-2 right now too, right? With these couple losses that we gave up. But what I'm asking is, isn't that what we want? I mean, we thought this was going to be a bad year. A first-year coach. There was already questions about Trevor Lawrence. I thought we were going to have an abysmal year. Once I saw the first couple games where we beat some pretty good teams. The Panthers are having a decent year, and then we beat the Houston Texans as well. So isn't this what we want? Don't we want to be in the hunt? So a lot of us are saying this is what happened in the last couple of years, especially in 2023. We were 6-3 in 2023, and then we went on a horrible run after that. I totally get it. But man, this is Liam Coen. It's his first year as a head coach. I watch football every Sunday with my dad, and I remember telling my dad this Sunday, at the end of the second quarter, with a minute and a half left or a minute left, we had three timeouts and we just let the clock go out. We were up. We had a pretty sizable lead. We were doing very, very well. We let the foot off the gas. I remember I told my dad, I said, Dad, we're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game because it's a first year head coach, and he doesn't understand that we need to put our foot on. We need to put our foot down, and we need to tear it up, man. We need to just keep going. We need to put the pedal to the metal, and we just need to tear it up. Like I remember saying that we need to put our foot on the gas, and I, look what happened. I remember I hated the end of the second quarter. And when we came out the third quarter, we looked like we were lost. We had a horrible third quarter. It's tough to turn it around after a whole quarter and halftime and the end of the second quarter when your team is celebrating when you haven't won yet. To me, that's a coach issue. To me, that's where Liam Coen should have got his team going. But I'm not going to say that Liam Cohen's not the guy because he's made two mistakes. We should have beat the Bengals and the Texans. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say hopefully this is a learning experience for him. And hopefully now with Brenton Strange coming back, our offensive line gets better because we all know that Brenton Strange is a monster. Since Brenton Strange is now coming back, hopefully our line gets better. Brian Thomas Jr. hopefully comes back. That'll open up and that'll let Jacoby Myers, he's already learned 70% of the playbook, that'll allow him to really become better aligned in his role. So we have BTJ, Jacoby Myers. We got some good stuff coming back. Plus our main cornerback was out last game too. Um, there's a lot. We just got Brandon Lloyd back. I am kind of disappointed in Josh Hines Allen and in Trayvon Walker, but if you see the last play of the game, Trayvon Walker was running like crazy trying to get Mills while the rest of the team was just kind of just watching. So there's some scary stuff out there. But you look at Trevor, Trevor has had, and I'm not doing this whole poor Trevor thing. I'm not. I'm just speaking out facts. I'm looking at this objectively, not subjectively, right? If you look at this as it's an object, as it's something, Trevor Lawrence, 2022 with Doug Peterson built a great team around him for his skill set that I always talk about. 2023, 2024, we tried running the ball like crazy. There was times in interviews where they would say, we need to run the ball, and that opens up the rest of the game. Oh, you have a game plan. You can't get away from your game plan. You got to believe in your game plan. That's not the NFL. The NFL is a game of adapting, about pivoting. And that's what we always talk about, strategy. You have to adapt. You have to pivot, especially when it comes to the NFL. There's so many things that can change. If your running game is not there, you can't expect to run the ball endlessly and not put the ball in your quarterback's hands. And I think that's what hurt Trevor in 2023 and 2024. I think it hurt his confidence a little bit. And now what we're seeing is a coach, a first-year coach, who's finally getting Trevor out there. He's finally getting back to Trevor, putting a team around Trevor that is designed to fit his skill set. That's what we're seeing. I think it's going to get better. I don't think it's going to get worse. I think this is going to wake us up. We were woken up after the Bengals loss, and we're going to wake up after this loss too. It's a first-year coach, and for you guys talking about Trevor saying he's not a good quarterback, the reason why I won't give up on Trevor is one simple thing. I will not give up on Trevor because if we have three timeouts and 1 minute left, he makes things happen. That play where there was a foul called at the end of the game on Sunday, I didn't see the foul. No one saw the foul. I'm not going to blame the game on the refs, but I'm just saying if we have time, if we have a minute left with three timeouts, Trevor against the Chiefs, against the Chargers, against the Ravens, he's proven time and time again that he can get us points with 1 minute left and three timeouts. And there's only a few quarterbacks that can do that in the NFL. That's why I believe in Trevor. And if we give Liam Coen the time to build his culture, to have a decent year, something to build on next year, have a good offseason, draft the right people, trade the right people. If we continue to believe in that, man, I think the Jaguars can do something. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl or nothing, but at least we can develop a culture of winning. But we have to let these players, these coaches, we have to let them develop what they have to develop. All right, thanks, guys. Hopefully, I don't get beat up too much on the comments.